Good day, everybody. This is your man Shannon coming at you again with another rendition of You're So Witty. We're here to help. We're here to make sure that people find something interesting, maybe that they can use as a help tool. And we have different subjects. So if you like what you hear, we ask that you like and subscribe. We'll get right to it. Today I have a guest on, um, Miss Chaka Meyers, and we're going to bring her on right now. Miss Chaka Meyers, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine, doing fine. I brought you on to discuss a subject today, but before we get started, I'd like you to tell us a little something about yourself.
My name is Chaka Myers. I am named after the singer Chaka Khan. I am an entrepreneur. I have a couple of businesses, from cleaning business to making holistic jewelry. And I'm a mother. I am divorcee. So I've been out here living a little bit seasoned. So other than that, I'm just real cool.
Cool, cool. Well, I brought you on to talk about a subject. You said you're divorcee. We're going to talk about divorce. I too have been divorced. I mean, it's nothing to jump off the ceiling about and be all shouting about, but it happens, you know. And so I'm gonna bring that up, as we talk about this subject. We're not here to bash, but we're here to help people to just know that there's life on the other side of it. But we do talk about, the things you go through. So
Right.
that said, how long were you married, if you don't mind me asking?
I was married for 5 years. We were together for 7.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I would ask you, being the first question, um, how stressful was it on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 being it was the worst ever, one being, hey, it could have been anything.
It was an 11.
It came off the Richter scale. Okay, okay. You want to discuss that a little bit about why would you say it was an 11?
um, because I almost died during the process twice, just from heartache, like literally dying of grief. So that's why I say it was an 11, because both times I was taken to the hospital, I was I was informed later on that had I not been brought that night, I would have passed away.
Yeah, yeah. It can be a very stressful thing, and I think I was telling somebody not too long ago. If you let that stress get to you, it can um, it can be bad. It can be real bad, and it's almost like for some people, I would say dying because you cutting off half of somebody that you've been with for a long, long time.
Right.
Uh, but things happen. All situations don't necessarily work out.
No.
Uh, Let me ask you something. In that vein, would you say is one person's fault, or is it always a couple effort when a divorce happens? In your opinion,
It depends on the situation. There's so many reasons that people end up in a divorce.
right?
So, and for like my particular divorce, it was no fault of my own. Like,
Right.
I left the divorce thinking I did play a huge part, only for years later, after the dust has settled, that my ex-husband was able to tell me, like, actually, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, he was like, it's all on me. Like, you were perfect. Like, you didn't do nothing wrong. There was nothing you could have did better. It was nothing you could have did right. He was like, you did everything the way you were supposed to. He was like, it was all on me. So
Right.
no, it wasn't my fault
Right.
after all, you
Well,
know.
that's big props to him for even coming clean and say, you did
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah,
Especially
I
a
was
man.
glad I was in a place to receive it, because you know, years earlier, I assume if he would have tried to attempt it to apologize, I'd have been like, man, get the fuck on with that. Like, I wouldn't even wanted to hear it, you
Right.
know. So
Right.
at the time that he gave it to me, I was in a more evolved place, a more emotionally mature place,
Right.
to be
Right.
able to receive what he was actually saying to me. And it was very sincere. Like, I could tell that it wasn't something that he just, you know, didn't think about. He had a lot of thought in how he wanted to address me on the subject, and I appreciated that.
Right. And now the thing you said about you were in a place where you could receive it. Now I feel you on that. There has to be that period where I imagine, with a lot of people that you get to a place where you can even discuss the person, let
Yeah.
alone talk to the person, but being that you're mature enough to do that, that's good too. Because a lot of people never reach that. A lot of people don't get that.
No.
They mad when it happened, and they mad at the funeral if they outlive the person.
Right.
But really you can hurt yourself in that long run. So I'm glad you were able to receive it, because I would think it took something for him to even say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said you are a mother. Did you see that affect anything in terms of your child or your children, or after divorce happened with the kid?
Yes, but because I was so, I guess, traumatized so early in the divorce, like, because I was blindsided by the divorce happening. Like, I was completely clueless, and then literally woke up one day and realized everything I thought is no longer going to happen in my life. Like, that is the picture I painted no longer exists.
Yeah.
And once that reality set in, I was just in a whirlwind with my headspace. I couldn't function, I felt like, and but I had this 2-year-old looking at me.
Right.
And it was very difficult. Because I didn't want to deal with him. He looked like his dad. I'm angry at his dad right now. This was the first time
No,
I
real
ever
talk.
had these type feelings. And then that made me upset, and then made me sad, because I'm like, what type of person think this way? Like, I'm really this angry that I would take this out on my child. Like, I was like, I can't function.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't necessarily seek help right away.
Okay.
I just was just talking to people, anybody who would listen to me, but I was still like hysterical. So, like, I can't talk without crying. I can't talk without being angry. I can't talk about, it without having to be like, but let me go back to the beginning. And, I just couldn't function. I really just couldn't function.
Right. And how long did it take before you, function wise, you started kind of coming back around to the old Chaka?
2 years.
Okay.
2 years.
Did
I mean,
talking to other people help that, or?
Yeah, 2 years of 2 people counseling me every day, like literally holding my hand through this whole process of trying to heal and reimagine a new me, because that's where I was having difficulty in, with trying to just gain my footing from the divorce. Who is this new person? Like, I know how to pick up and go when it's just me, but now I have a child, and I'm feeling so sad. I'm watching his father move on. But how does this affect my son? Because at the time this was happening, he was only 2. So, the vocabulary is limited. This is the only world he's been familiar with.
Right.
And then it just kind of like was uprooted, and there was no transitioning for any of the children involved. There was children involved on the other party.
Right. Okay.
And there was no transitioning or blending, no explanation, none collectively of all adults involved in this for the children. I did it with my son personally, because it was like, because I was being counseled, I had people in my ears saying, okay, look, you're gonna have to step up in a way that seems so unfair to you. But you have to do it for your son.
I see.
And I was so afraid of being a bad mom. Like, I personally think, and I'm a Black mom, Black moms are toxic sometimes. I knew I didn't want to be that,
right,
but with the circumstance that I was placed in, I felt like I was going to be that regardless. I have no idea how not to be that. I have all the examples of what to do, and I see the outcome of it. I'm living this right now with the outcome of someone just going with toxicity of the parent, and this is how you was raised. So I was just like, I needed to not do that to my son. I felt like I owed him a sound mind in his mother. I owed him safety. I owed him a healthy relationship with his father. Those things I felt I owed my son.
Yeah, kudos for that.
I had to really dig deep down and ask for help because I couldn't figure it out on my own.
You know, the fact that he was so young too when you guys divorced, that kind of a good thing too?
Good thing.
Yeah.
It was a good thing because he didn't really know what was going on, you know, but I didn't take him out his home. I left the home.
Okay.
And I left him there with his dad. And I started my process because at the time I was working, so I was traveling anyway. So my son was already used to me being gone, you know, and coming home and being gone for periods of time. So like that didn't affect him because he, in his mind, he knew mommy always comes back home. I always see my mom. So like he was okay with that. But the day-to-day living, like he probably picked that up once his dad moved out of Georgia. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute, like something's kind of different here.
Right. So where are y'all in terms of relationship now, you and your ex? Y'all able to talk pretty good?
We're very good. It's so funny. I never think ever I would ever be able to say that I can actually treat this man friendly. I can talk to him friendly. We have a good relationship now. Like it's amazing what when you allow yourself to heal, how far you can go with it. Because in our case, the more I healed, he had no choice but to step up and catch up to me. Because I wasn't just, I had learned new tools of how to deal with conflict. I was used to fighting. Even though we weren't physical, like we weren't like that, but I was used to being in attack mode all the time, always on the defense. And I learned how to be slow to react. And that changed my life. I didn't even know that was an option. And I remember being so angry about finding out that that's an option and no one told me.
Right. Had you always been that way? You know, ready to do battle if you had to, or
yeah. Always due to just the way I grew up. It was a toxic environment, so I had to fight there. But then I'm also little in stature, like I'm barely 5'2", so the world is bigger than me all the time. And I always had to fight just because I'm little, you know. So I always had to be heard. I always had to be seen, you know. So like that fight in me that's always been there. Always been there.
Well, I hear something there, and I gotta commend you on something. You said there was an option, and I now found it out. So now with that option, you took the option. Some people find the option out, and they be like, "Nah, I'd rather still whoop your ass."
Oh, you know? Yeah, it wasn't easy. I fought it. Of course I fought it. Of course I fought it. I'm like, wait a minute. No, I have to answer this text message right now. They got me tripping. No, I fought that. I fought that tooth and nail that no, my way works. This can't work. Being slow to react cannot work. Like, and it works. It does work.
So like having your son, that actually helped you choose that option, I would say.
Huh? Yeah. The last physical fight I got into, my son was 1 year old. And that's for me was like, you know what? I can't really be out here fighting. Like, so like, he brought a lot of change and awareness within myself since he's been born. Yes.
That's good. See, good things come out of stuff like that too. And the fact that you say you and your ex get along good, that just does my heart well, because I think I was talking with somebody the other day. I said, in our ethnicity, do we normally see couples being able to do that. And for you to say that, that's huge. That's the reason I do these type shows and stuff, only because those options do help. And if y'all can still talk, and I ain't saying you got to be buddy running down the street together and all that, but if you can just still talk, especially for the good of the kid, man, that's big.
Well, those were tools that were given to me by other people. You know, like they told me, like you got to figure out a balance of how you're going to deal with your son's father. You know, both people that counsel me made it a point to say your children are going to know who you are as a person. They don't stay little forever. They're watching. Wow. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, well, there's no need to lie to my son. You know, I will always give kid-friendly answers to his level of understanding on any subject. Mm-hmm. So he was well aware that his father and I was divorcing on this end, but on his father's end, he was being told something else. And so he did have confusion for a while, because he would be like, Mommy, Daddy saying this, but you're saying this. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, even though I did not like none of the parties involved, right, I still was like, I still had the kids in mind. Like, okay, well, we got to kind of make it easy for them. And everyone was not a willing participant. So it went on for a long time, just being real messy and messed up. And the only thing I could do on my end was make sure that my son still saw his father as a superhero. And okay, if he changed into a villain, he saw it on his own, not because I told him.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. Well, God bless you for that, because I'm seeing right now a lot of people who never get over it. They keep it messy. They'd rather be messy. I don't care that kids involved. We're gonna keep it messy, and life just be moving on. People be getting older, you know.
Yeah, that doesn't make me sleep well. Revenge, like I've experienced enough things in life to know that you ain't gotta do nothing for revenge. All you gotta do is just keep living. Like, you don't have to do nothing. Anybody that do you dirty, you don't have to do nothing to them but wish them well, because whatever you put out there, it comes back. It's gonna circle back.
Yeah. I would say some of the best, if we're gonna use the word revenge too, is living well, going on with your life, doing good, enjoying your life. And that says a whole lot more than, people jumping out the box doing all kind of craziness. I would like to ask you, though, what advice would you give someone going through a divorce? I mean, they were you were back then, or they ready to clown or bust some windows out, or take matters into their own hand.
Breathe. Okay. Breathe.
I like that. Yeah.
Breathe a lot. Mm-hmm. Because
I like that.
You're gonna be tested, and if you just allow yourself to take that deep breath, it buys you time. It buys you time to not go through with that thought that you're feeling right now. It buys you time to maybe feel the emotion. If you take that breath, you might burst into tears, because that's might be what you need at that moment, instead of going straight over there and you busting out windows, you attacking somebody, because it can turn left so quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's really not what you want. You just want to stop hurting is what you want.
Yeah.
And so you're just lashing out.
And I think a lot of times people forget that that's a process. That stop hurting part. They want, we want to just stop it right then.
Right.
But it's a process, and it might hit you 2 weeks later, a day later, a year later. And you just
right. There was never a time I wanted to die, but I definitely wanted to stop feeling.
Okay.
And that's where the depression had set in, because I didn't want to die, but I damn sure wanted to stop feeling. I didn't want to feel nothing. I wanted to feel numb. Well, feeling numb is closer to death than living.
Mm-hmm. Was it hard to get out of bed at them times and stuff like that? I just had to go back. Like some people say it was hard for them to get out of bed, go to work.
Yeah. Okay. My mom, at times fed me, sat me up to feed me because I can't eat. I can't sleep. I'm just laying there. Like, yeah, it was bad for me. I've never seen myself that bad. And I've been depressed, experienced bouts of depression before from other things, but I don't think I ever been traumatized to damn near paralysis, to damn near death like that before. Like, no, I was crumbling. Like, it just felt like everything around me was crumbling and I could not see past a minute of the day.
Right. Right. Wow.
So, but breathing, as simple as it is, was one of the things that someone taught me that I didn't realize I'm holding my breath. So I was going through all this and still holding my breath, holding everything in. And, you know, breathing now is like my first line of defense to remaining level-headed. Like, and advice going through a divorce, you got to go through the whole entire process unless it's going to be an amicable divorce. If it is not going to be amicable, meaning one person has one discrepancy on anything,
Right.
you have to go through the entire process, and the only people that win in divorce are the fucking lawyers. And I wish people would realize that, because then you can actually end it even better. Like, I would love to get married again, but I don't know if I would legally do the paperwork again, just because it was such a hassle.
Yeah.
Like, that was stressful in itself.
Yeah, because every letter they charge you for every letter, anything they do, they're gonna charge you for. Yeah.
Every copy, and then you can't just you got to get a certified, notarized copy for every copy if you're going to use it as a copy. So, like, it was a headache. Then court dates, like, he kept me in court for 6 months straight. Mind you, this man had moved to Texas. So it backfired because he had to keep coming back to court. But he put me in court for 6 months straight, all the way down to fighting for custody. And mind you, the divorce, we're still going through the process, the legality of it. Wow. And I'm still getting pulled into court for custody. I'm getting pulled into court for, like, he even challenged my parental rights. He went as far as to be like, you know what, I'm going to go in this courtroom and tell them you're not a good mom. Like, he went that far. Right. But the thing is my judge was like, okay, she's not a good mom. I'm going to need to see proof, though. Like, you can tell me all the stories you want, but I need to see proof. He didn't have no proof because it wasn't true. But it was a very sad experience to look and see the person I'm still married to that had a baby for, and you're this low. Like, you would literally come in here and lie on me.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard stories, people making it to court, and they good as long as they talking on the phone or dealing with each other outside the court. When they get to court, be like, who is that over there? Who is that? I don't even recognize you.
I was shocked. Yeah. Like, I was shocked. So, like, you know, it's so many things advice you can give for a divorce, but it will get better. There is a second life after divorce. There is life after divorce, 100% life after.
So that does bring me to this question. Did you learn any life lessons through divorce?
Yes. Yes. The biggest thing I learned is, for any reason, people change their mind. Wow. And it's really nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Yeah. But people change their mind all the time. Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Learn how to adapt.
You can't control another human being, you know. And if they choose
to and I learned that I had to be happy before I enter in any type of a relationship. because that's actually the longest relationship you'll have is with yourself.
That's right.
So you better enter into that whole as a person first before getting married. That's one thing I've learned moving forward. I won't enter into any relationship and I am not already whole myself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's up. And the thing about it too, I want to go back to one point you made. You say, "Oh, we really good." To be honest, we talk and and all of that stuff. And the fact that you got, how old is your son now? Or your child?
10.
10. Okay. See, that to me, that's a high note for me. So that's why I keep going back to that. The fact that y'all can still talk. He's 10. He sees this. There's no buffoonery going on at this point about what happened. Because really, at the end of the day, does it really matter what happened at some point? At some point,
Yes, it does matter.
It does matter.
It does matter.
Explain that.
It does matter because the actions of someone affected a bunch of people. So yes, it does matter.
Gotcha.
It affected my son's life.
Mm-hmm.
It affected the world he knew.
Mm-hmm.
So it does matter. It matters in the way you deliver it, though. Like I said, I gave kid-friendly, answers, but at the same time, I was truthful. So when he was like 4 or 5, that's when he was like, okay, yeah, my mom and dad is not together no more, and my dad is over here with this other lady now, like, and I kind of know who this other lady is, but I'm not sure. So like, he would just randomly ask me stuff sometimes. Right. So one time he asked me, do you like my daddy? I was like, no. And he was just like, for real? Right, and I was like, I do not like your daddy. And he was just like, but you talk to him. When he asked you that? And I was like, I have to talk to him because of you, but I do not like your dad. Like, and he was just like, oh my God, like, I didn't know that. So,
how old was he when he asked you that?
He probably was like 5.
Okay.
But he asked me why, and I told him. And at that time, I said, your daddy did some things that really affected my life in a negative way. And so, like, for me, your dad's not a cool person to me. I don't think I don't like him. I don't like him. And the only why I deal with them is because of you. But I don't like your dad.
Did you ever recant that? Did you ever change that?
Yes. When his dad apologized.
Okay.
Like, because not only did his father apologize to me, he apologized to our son also that same time. So he spoke to me first, but then he also pulled my son to the side and apologized to him. Yeah, my son, because he asked me, are you and my dad friends now? I was like, yeah, we all right. We friends, and since then, like, he has seen us together. Yeah. Where it's just my son and my ex-husband, and it's just the 3 of us, Right. And that was something I could see that my son just wanted to visually see again, because now he has siblings, with his dad and his stepmom, and right. He just wanted like a little piece of his own world of what he did remember, because he was old enough to remember us being together in our old house and everything. There was a time when my son would look at pictures from that time frame and didn't want to see them because he could see the old house. He remembered that, but he was unsure of what happened.
Wow. Well, the fact that you recanted it, and came back, and now y'all, like, you smiling now.
Yeah, we're good. I don't have no beef with that man no more. Like, yeah. I don't have no problem. I'm glad that it happened, because it still propelled me into the woman I am now. And I don't know if with the way that we were going, I would have reached this. I'm glad it happened early. My son was young enough that, it didn't really affect him like that. Plus, his dad remained in his life. So, like, he's never not known his dad in his life. Like, his dad has always been active. Despite we've always been team our son.
Yeah. So he was a good dad. You have no qualms.
Yeah, I don't have any complaints with his parenting or fatherhood. Like, he was always a great father, even at our worst. He was a great father still through it. Like, we could be fighting out in court, and then he come right to the house right after we leaving the court. I'm pissed off, and he's picking his son up to take him back with him. Like, we were like that, but I never interfered with his relationship with his son. Like, I date these men who have experienced shit like this. So, like, I'm not about to contribute this and send my son out here like this. Like, that's the least I can do.
Right. Yeah. Kudos for that. Not jacking them up even more, watching all this craziness go on. Yeah. That's what's up. Well, one thing about it, you've been very transparent and honest about everything. And then you're giving it from a perspective of a woman, you know,
Yeah.
you felt about it. And also what you wanted your son to see as far as his dad goes. You know, I got to give you props for that too. But it's not an easy situation. It's not easy. And everybody handles it different. Everybody handles it different. Some can get real nasty, and some are real quick, and some are real long. But in fact of you saying there is life after divorce, there is. There is. You just have to keep knowing that. I'm gonna say this right quick. I like to have you back on other subjects because I like your transparency. We're gonna have to bring it back because you letting it fly just the way you feel it, and that's the way I like it. So it's all good. My whole thing is, you know, with the You're So Witty thing, anybody watching this, I want them to understand that what we try to do is capture realness. We want to be real talk for real people, and I appreciate you coming and letting us hear your side of things. And I am glad things are good between you and your ex and your son. So it's all good. All right. So on the next show, you know, anybody watching, I want you to come back and see what else we got to say, because when we talk about these kind of subjects, there's always another take on it, you know.
Yeah.
Miss Chaka, you came and you brought it the way I needed it brought. So I appreciate it. All right. Well, God bless and Godspeed. And that's where we're going to end it. And I will talk to you real soon. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining another show of You're So Witty. Miss Chaka came. She told us exactly how we needed to hear it. And as I said, it's different for everybody. Please like and subscribe if you got anything out of this. And we'll be back with another show. On the next show, hopefully you'll get something out of that. God bless, Godspeed, and we will see you on the next rendition of You're So Witty.